Hello again and welcome to the Dr Hilary Show. Coming up, an entertainer with a 40-year career spanning television and the stage. He's hosted the Royal Variety Performance an impressive 8 times, starred in award-winning sitcoms and headlined West End musicals like Hairspray, Jolson and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'll be joined by the amazing Brian Conley. First today, what answers do you need about your health? Those worries that just won't go away. This is your chance to get some help with Ask Dr Hilary, where each week I'll answer your health and wellness questions right here on the show. If there's something on your mind, let me know. Well, I had a message from Lindsay who says, for the last few months, I found a tiny lump on my left thigh under the skin, and also I have a very big lump under the skin on my right hip. None are painful. I just wonder if I should go to the doctor. I'm 38 and relatively healthy. Well, the thing is, Lindsay, it sounds very much like these are benign subcutaneous lumps under the skin. One of the commonest things would be a lipoma. This is a little collection of fat cells encapsulated in a sheath. So they're mobile, they're spongy, they're soft, they're non-painful. And this is quite likely. They're very common. Another thing might be a fibroma, which is a fibrous tissue under the skin again, perhaps coming from the edge of a nerve or just from scar tissue from a previous injury, but unlikely in 2 places. Sometimes a lymph node can cause a lump under the skin, but not usually in those locations. There can be sebaceous cysts, which are blocked oil-producing glands. They can cause a cyst. Then you could have got abscesses and boils, but usually they would be red, they'd be inflamed, they'd be tender. And it's unlikely that a lymph gland would be, as I say, swollen in those areas. So it sounds very benign, but as with all things, I can only give general advice. I can't see it, can't examine it, and it's always best to check with your GP, who will be delighted to reassure you if it's nothing to worry about. And of course, they can be removed for cosmetic reasons, but probably not on the NHS unless they're interfering with anything else. So everybody else, if like Lindsay, you have any questions, send them in confidence to ask@drhilaryjones.com. Don't wait, get involved, and let's talk about what really matters to you. My celebrity guest this week is a man who's done it all in show business. A star of his primetime TV show, treading the boards in the West End, misbehaving in Walford, and dazzling on the Strictly dance floor. It is Brian Conley. Brian, welcome.
I definitely didn't dazzle them. Don't give me that. No, I didn't.
Did you misbehave, though?
In that show, I got more points on my driving licence than I did in that show. My partner, Amy Dowden, who has really battled through things, God bless her, she's such a strong lady. It was her first year as well as, well, obviously mine. But it is a lot harder than you think. I mean, it's the best-known laxative in show business doing that show. When you're standing there in front of 11 million people live. And the thing is, have you ever done it?
No.
Why wouldn't you? Surely you've been asked. Come on.
I did Dancing on Ice.
Oh, really?
I did Dancing on Ice.
That is terrifying.
It's painful as well. I got to 6 weeks thanks to the TVAM audience, really, who kept voting me in. And after 6 weeks, I was like, let me go. Because I got as far as I could.
Well, that doesn't suffer fools, because if you fall and hurt yourself, you're going to hurt yourself.
And we all did.
I know. Where we have just got to cope with, a bit of dance floor. But it is, as you well know, it's really nerve-wracking.
Isn't it?
Oh.
Were you a good dancer before you did it?
No, never. Well, that's it. I've done West End shows, don't wish to brag. I've done 5 West End musicals. I've done 8 in all, but 5 in the West End. And I thought I was a lot better dancer than I was, because in a show, you've got plenty of time to learn something. You've got 3 weeks, 4 weeks to maybe sort of hone. I was in the show, Me and My Girl. There's a 4-minute tap routine in that. It took me 6 weeks to learn. I would go to Pineapple every day, obviously not at weekends. So I'm doing that every day. My leading lady wanders in and picks it up within an hour, because she's a trained dancer. So with Strictly, it's all right the first couple of weeks because you have got a bit of time to sort of tune it up. But then after that, you're in it and you've literally got 5 days because as well as learning it, because it's got to be in front of the camera within 5 days. You've got to do that. It takes two. You've got to do your dodgy little film and all that game. And it all gets in the way, as well as promotion. And then all you want to do is learn it. Then you stand there dancing the cha-cha-cha, and you're thinking, the world's looking at this.
Totally.
And if I can just get it out. Anyway, we digress.
I remember that, coming out of that tunnel on Dancing on Ice.
Is that live?
That's live. And you know how many million people are watching that, and you're coming out of that tunnel thinking, everything I learned in the last few weeks I've already forgotten. I'm going to make an ass of myself. It's not going to work.
Good.
But they're great shows, aren't they? The production is still fantastic.
Building, it's good character building, and I was petrified of doing it for many years, but then suddenly I thought, I'm not getting any younger. Go on,
challenge.
But it was sorry to waffle on about it, but it's touch and go. I will rehearse it and do it with Amy, and we'd dance it, and it'd be a good one. Then I do it again, it'd fall apart. So when you're standing there waiting, you're not sure, have I got a good one in me at this moment, or is it going to just fall apart? Fortunately, it didn't. And a wonderful experience, and I lasted, like you, 6 weeks.
Fantastic. Well, I'm surprised you didn't take to it like a duck to water, because there's so much you have achieved. Actor, comedian, singer, musicals, sitcom, TV show, 8 variety performances that you've compared. I mean, that's amazing.
I'm very honoured with that. I'm touched. It was the biggest thing. The very first time when I hosted it, right at the very end, at the end of the show, always the big star has to walk forward and go, 3 cheers for Her Majesty the Queen. And they said, right, Brian, you have to do it. And it was such a moment for me. And in one of the early ones I'd done, where I hosted it, because I didn't host all of them, but you'd have to come on, you're host for the evening, Mr. Brian Conley, and you walk on, and that's another one. I'm always putting myself through it. Why? When you stand in the wings going, here we go, oh, the Queen's watching. But I thought I need a good opening. So I came on, and your host, Brian Conley, and of course, traditionally, you bow to the front. Then you walk over and you bow to the royal box, and then you get on with it. Well, I bowed to the front, and then as I walked to the royal box, it was all set up, I fall straight in the pit. And we had all these crash mats there. So, as I'm walking, I've still got my eyes up. Look at it, you have a bang. And it brought the house down. And my wife was up in the circle looking, and she could see the Queen. And she said she was absolutely crying.
Was she?
And then, of course, second time I come on in with a wheelchair, and a brace.
It's lovely.
But it was a good opening, strong opening, and that's what you need. Anything with, you need your good opening, because then you feel
absolutely
all right.
Well, it's no wonder you've been nominated for so many awards for comedy, because you've been everybody's favourite for so long. You had your own show twice, and
I know I survived. I've survived. That's it. I'm now celebrating. Wait for it. Actually, I think it's 51. I'm 63, 64 this year. I know. I'm not getting old. I'm just marinating. But I can now cough, fart, sneeze and pee all at the same time. But I've been doing it for 50 years.
I know. Incredible.
Because I went to stage school and I learned to build stages. Sorry, that's a terrible joke. But anyway, I went to stage school, Barbara Speake Stage School, and I got my equity card when I was 12. So this is in the 70s. There's only 4 sort of stage schools for kids in that era in London. And I'm one of the only kids in my class in the 70s that would have his hair really cut short, for a period bit, whether it be World War II or God knows what. And so I did not stop working, and I got my equity card when I was 12. So officially, that's when I was in the business, and that was 51 years ago. Yeah. And I've managed to survive and never have a proper job.
Oh, fantastic. So you did the training at an early age, but nothing really can prepare you for coming out on stage in front of the royal family, in front of that audience, that TV audience. How do you deal with that stress?
How do you deal with it? It's in me to entertain. Brian Conley will persist in being the joke of the class, will not get on with his work. Of course, I am dyslexic, so when I was at school, and it wasn't recognised then, I was put in the remedial class, while, we'd all go in for our English lesson and go, right, all the remedial kids, get down there. Everyone's busying themselves, whenever we took an exam, and I would just sit there going, I have no idea how are these people so good? I I really want to try. I'm really trying to work hard, and I can't do it. So my way out at the time, because all I assumed was I was thick, and my thing at the time was just to make everyone laugh. Also, I had a very good, strong singing voice. So for me, if there was a talent competition or we had a school production, that's where I would shine. But then get me to stand up and read out loud, and of course, ironically, as I've got on in life, I use a lot of auto cue. I have to learn lots, but then don't ask me to spell Siobhan. Being in EastEnders for 3 years, extreme amounts to learn every day, so much content. They're doing 4 shows a week. They're all half hour long. So give me that and give me that challenge. I can get on with it. But I wasn't helped. My daughter is very badly dyslexic, and she's now 27, got a degree, and she was nurtured and it was recognised and she had more time with exams, but it made me what I am. I do not regret it one single bit. Sure. It made me what I am. Just don't ask me to spell Siobhan.
So you can still get on despite being dyslexic. Probably couldn't read very well, but you found a way through
my way
suited
out,
you.
And also I know what going through therapy and that, it was really interesting. It's a wonderful psychiatrist I had, because the bottom line is, when I was absolutely fine, got into my 40s, and then my father died. My father died when I was about 42. And, oh my God, I was all right for about a year. I thought I was fine. I thought I'd grieve. I'll get over this. I'm okay. Then my chest was like this. Telling my wife, maybe I'm allergic to milk. Maybe I'm allergic to this. Maybe I'm allergic. What is wrong with me? Then suddenly I'm having the panic attacks. And I remember the first one. My daughter was very young when we were under these ball pen, all these balls there, have total health hazards, God knows what's on them. I don't think they even do these places anymore. My daughter got stuck in this tube. So, and she's only about 3, 4. Okay. And my wife said, don't worry, I'll get her, jump into the ball thing, I'm getting through the tube, and like that. Right, push up, there you go, baby, okay. Now I'm stuck in the tube. Now I'm having a full-on panic attack. I've never had them before. I don't know what's happening. I'm stuck in the tube. Help!
Everyone thinks this is a rehearsal for the Royal Variety performance.
I know. I'm stuck in this tube. And it was sort of like plastic, but there was a little sort of thin see-through bit here. And I'm like, it's having a full-on panic attack. Anyway, it's suddenly got a grip now, the old panic attacks, and it just gets worse and worse. And I'm going to get some help. And then, of course, they diagnosed me with anxiety and depression, and so suddenly I'm in that little bubble for some time.
And you think that was down to the bereavement, the loss of your father?
Without a doubt. I was so close to my dad, because I do rely on people. I'm dyslexic, so there's certain things, as we said before this, I said, in the real world, I'm rubbish, but give me a microphone to 2,000 people. That's my world. I belong there. I'm used to it. And that's getting back to your question is that you're very much, I've grown up in this. People go, how can you stand here for an hour and a half? I've been doing it all my life, and it was baby steps, to this point, but I don't know if I answered the question, and I want to go back to the anxiety and depression. We will. Else.
So when you're performing, do you feel like you're in control of it all? You're regulating everything.
Well,
you're in charge.
I've had everything. I've had in my career 3 people have died while I've been on stage. So throw anything at me. I've had a fire. So I can cope. I know exactly what to do no matter what happens. The worst thing that can happen is the mic goes down. Yeah. Then you've had it. You've lost your control of the room.
Well, let's get back to your panic attacks.
Oh.
I mean, they're terrifying, aren't they?
Oh.
Physically terrifying.
Yes.
Describe what you felt when you were in that tube.
Out of control and not having any answers.
Thought you were going to die?
And it just built and got, and then suddenly these things are happening. First time it's like a bit of a one-off. What's that all about? Second time, I haven't really got an angle on this. What do I do when I'm going to say I'm working, say I'm just about to go on, say I've got to do this script, and then it snowballs, and now you're out of control, and now it's got a hold of you. And First I learned how to breathe properly. I learned to breathe into my stomach because obviously with anxiety, it's fight or flight. You're breathing into your upper chest, pumping all this blood through you, ready to run away. And you've got to learn to breathe into your stomach, and the only way you can do that for me was, obviously putting your hand there, taking a nice deep breath, going into your stomach. I have many stories about this, but my best was I was doing a film. Wait for it. It's called Equilibrium, and it was with Christian Bale. I'm only in 2 scenes, and I have to fly to Berlin. And I know I'm not right, but, anyway, let's see how we get on, worried about the panic attacks. And now I'm on my own, but I'm on a plane, and I'm pushed into a corner. I'm on the seat here by the window, and these two are there. And then I start going into a panic attack. And then I'm trying to talk to the person, trying to get out of my headspace, get out of there. He speaks German, so I'm no good there. Okay, right, what do they tell me? What have I got to do? I've got to do the breathing, got to do the breathing, got to do the breathing. Right, what have I got to do? Breathe in, stomach. And then it started to go. And then it was like, whew, hey, I'm all right. I'm okay. Wow, this whole breathing thing, it sort of works. And in a way, of course it helped, and it was a little chipping away that it hasn't quite got me in its grip. It would still flare up, and I would still be going, oh God, what have I got to do? But it helped. It was a little help. Then I went on antidepressants, which I'm still on. I love them. Bring them on. Okay. No, because when I say, and this is like, we're talking about 25 years ago, at least, when my father died. Yeah, about then. I'd look at it like a vitamin tablet. I always think, well, I might as well have that, very low dosage, but I don't see any harm in that. I've been on it forever, and I just don't want to go. Well, I don't want to take it, don't want to not take it.
I mean, they get a bad press sometimes. But, a lot of people knock antidepressants, say they're not necessary, they have nasty side effects. But actually, when they're needed, they make a huge difference. They made a difference to you.
Well, yes. After some time, I suppose you have to be very aware that it's not a magic pill. You're not, and it's not about me having this euphoria when I take it. It's just about after some time, I just started to feel normal. And that was important. And I do, in life, in the last, you have your ups and downs a bit, but I'm on a bit of an even keel, And
then you had some therapy as well?
I had therapy. Initially, I felt that it wasn't that good. And why? I don't know, it just didn't gel, and I just felt that it was all taking too long. I'm coming every week. I went twice a week. Just go twice a week. I'm not feeling any better. And I felt they strung me along and should have given me antidepressants at an earlier stage. Anyway, I then found a goodie. I found a good therapist, and he was very good. And he's one of the reasons, I know he's the reason I haven't had a drink in 21 years. I'm still on the tea.
Tea's all right.
Tea's okay. So, but even then it has to be decaf now.
Oh, does it?
Oh, yeah.
They've taken that out as well.
Because of this. Oh, there's other things that are wrong with me. We're going to be here for hours, ladies and gentlemen. But when I went to him, I said, I'll do anything to feel better. Anything. Because I know the buck stops here. I've got a lovely family, and I need to provide, and it's my job, okay? So I'll do anything. He said, well, I think you better give up, the booze. Not completely, but you should,
Were you a heavy drinker?
No, but I was self-medicating on the booze. I was like, I only have a good time in the evening because I've had a little drink and forgotten about everything. And then he went, you got to give up. And try and give up. And I said, yeah, but I'm going on holiday to Antigua, and it's all inclusive. So when I come back, I'm going to really focus on it. And he said, well, won't there always be a holiday? Won't there always be a weekend? Won't there always be a birthday party? Won't there always be a pub on the corner? And I went, now I know why I'm paying you. And during the course of playing with it initially, I didn't, it wasn't like, right, okay, then I'm going to wander out of here. it took ages, and I want everyone to know that it did take about 6 months to wean off it and play with it and made, I've done a week now. Oh no, I had a drink at the weekend. And then, but suddenly I just started feeling better. And once again, like what I talk about, I was on an even keel, and I'm very proud that it's probably one of my proudest things that I've never, and in our game, it's always there. Come on, let's all go out for a drink. I don't mind a cup of tea, lime and soda, but I want people to know that, it was tough. It was tough for me. But I just knew that it had to be done in the end, to focus. The most important thing in my world is to have a clear head. Because I am learning lots. When I was in EastEnders, you're learning lots. Yeah. You don't want to go out partying, then come back at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, I better look at that script.
Effort. It becomes more of an effort, doesn't it?
Yeah. So for me, it was the answer.
And of course, a lot of people don't realise that alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. So you're always fighting the depressing effect of alcohol.
You have a window.
Yeah.
It's very Moorish. This is what the psychiatrist said. You'll have a moment when you get to the party, that's your tough point, or when you walk into the pub. But you sort of think, okay, I've got about half hour here when it's going to feel like, I want to drink, everyone else have a drink, I want to drink. And then you tend to be okay, and you maybe leave early because a lot of people are talking shit, they start repeating themselves and everyone loves each other. You go, I'm going to go home now. But yes, it's Moorish, and then, okay, so if you were drinking, you'll have a few drinks, it relaxes you, and you'll probably have a window of an hour where you're like, but then you go, and then it just goes over the edge, over the top, and suddenly now you're not really drunk, but suddenly you're in a position where you will pay the price the next day because it adds.
It affects your sleep.
It adds
quality,
to your anxiety.
Absolutely. You must have known Tommy Cooper.
No, I didn't.
Did you not?
No, I love Tommy. I love Tommy Cooper. No, I didn't.
The reason I ask is we were talking about alcohol, and Tommy was a patient of my dad. My dad was a GP in Chiswick.
Cool, I bet he had his
Tommy
with Tommy.
Tommy used to live in Barrowgate Road in Chiswick, and he and his mates used to drink.
All his life he lived in that house. This tiny little house. Go on, sorry, Chiswick.
And he and his entertainment mates used to drink in the same pub every day, and they used to be the first in there every morning. So the story goes, and my dad told me this story, that once he bought a round, because he's not very good at that apparently. He bought a round, and then an argument ensued with the publican about whether he'd given him a £20 note or a £10 note, and Tommy was arguing that it was a £20 note. Publican said, "Look, sir, there's only one note in the till. It's a £10 note." And Tommy thought about it, and he said, "It's not the principle, it's the money." And I love that. I love that
line. I've heard that line, but I don't know the story behind it. It's not the principle, it's the money.
It's just the money.
Thank you very much.
I can just imagine him saying that.
And of course, famously, and of course, as you see his career and his life go on, he is slurring. He's slurring more, and that was it.
It was part of the act, though. It became part of the act in a way.
But I think it's that era. I didn't work with, but I had a girlfriend who was with Les Jolson in pantomime. And Les, and it shows you that sort of era. And, I don't know, when was it? Sort of early 80s or so. They would designate one of the dressing rooms as a bar. So this had optics, this had all loads of alcohol, and every person on the show, once it started to run dry, they were allocated. This is your turn to buy the stuff, so that's your turn to buy the stuff. So everyone got a little buzz, to sort of cope with these long seasons. By the end of the second show, they're all like, hey, because that was the only way of getting through. The crew, everyone was in there. Now you don't see that at all, which is good. We're all doing a job. We all should be professional. But in that era, it was very much seen as, this is the way of coping with being in showbiz.
Yeah. So therapy has helped you. Are you still getting any counselling at all?
No. I feel I'm in a very good place. I don't have panic attacks anymore, thank God. It was a terrible era, but time is a healer as well.
Sure, and you learn to deal with things.
When he first passed away, I couldn't even say the word dad. I'd choke up. But now, I'm good with all that, and I don't know why. I think maybe not drinking and things like that, but I don't really, if someone said to me, why do you not have them anymore? I don't really struggle with it. Why do I not have them? Because,
You've dealt with it.
Yeah, I addressed it.
And what about your physical health? How do you keep fit? What do you do?
I don't do anything. Pantomime keeps me fit.
Yeah.
People, But
how many times have you played buttons?
Oh God! I have played buttons in Cinderella so many times I don't even know. This year I done, and I'm doing it next year.
You completely have to reinvent it each time and come up with new stuff.
Well, it writes. If you're talking about adverts and popular things, that all comes into it. Stuff that the kids will relate to, and all that. But there's some strong stuff that has been tuned up over the years, it's an art form, when you're playing a lot. When we were Milton Keynes, we opened. This is before we'd even done a show. We opened to £2 million at the box office, but it's only because I'm fortunate that I got a name in panto, and. It's a strong show for the whole family.
You love it.
The whole family. There's a real art to that. There's a real art to sort of making sure everyone has a good time, and I'm very
still love it.
Proud of it. I love panto because it ticks all the boxes for me. If I'm in a show, in a musical or that, you are restricted, because you're playing with other actors, you can't ad-lib, you can't have fun, you can't break that fourth wall. Pantomime, you can do that. You can also dance, sing, ad-lib, topical humour, and, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and what it is, a show always relies on word of mouth. You can dress it up with the biggest poster and the biggest stars. You're relying on them walking out of that place going, I've got to tell my friends it's only here for a couple of weeks. I've got to tell my friends, and that's how it survives.
And it obviously keeps you fit mentally as well as physically, but you don't take any formal exercise, really? You get all your physical activity through the stage?
I like gardening, which is hilarious because I just never, ever thought, I'm no good at it, but we've got a little garden, that me and my wife take care of, but I'm always busy in the house. Give me a drill or jet wash this or clean that. But I think what's important and what is very important is I've always held on to that inner child.
Yeah,
and that's what you need when I'm doing panto or when I'm out there. I'm like a cheeky little lad, and I've always kept hold of that. And you talk to the great actors and performers and that, and they say how important that is, and I'm proud that I haven't had that knocked out of me.
I think that keeps you feeling young, doesn't it?
Yeah. I do. I genuinely, I am. I'm naughty, I'm cheeky.
I can see that. You've got that twinkle in your eye.
I've established an entire career on it.
Absolutely. And quite recently, you were playing Rocky in EastEnders.
Yes.
Bad boy. You're in jail at the moment, aren't you?
I am in jail for arson. I went a bit wrong. Due to my gambling.
That role?
I really did love it. There's such a camaraderie there from it. You're working together as a team. You're also working with, as I did with Gillian Tailforth, who is marvellous. You're working with these people one-on-one for so years, and doing something different every day. You're not going in like a musical or, where you are repeating it, putting the record on, start again.
When you consider all the things you've done in your career, sitcom, musicals, panto, theatre, Royal Variety, is there anything that you've preferred most? Anything that is really dear to your heart?
I did speak about it. Pantomime. I love pantomime as I've got older. So Ian McKellen, what I love, he's done all these films and everything, and he's a great advocate and a real... he really flies the flag for panto. So Ian came to see me in Southend a few years ago. It was just after lockdown, so he couldn't come back after us, so I was really disappointed. But the fact that it does pull on all your skills, to do it, where other things, you learn it and you do the same thing every night. I love doing my own show. I love what we're doing at the moment, which is the Pratt Pack, which we've done a tour. So this is me, Joe Pasquale, Bradley Walsh and Shane Ritchie, and we are just about to go on tour, and it is sold out, 24 dates in 40 minutes. We have a big orchestra, and, going along the themes of the Rat Pack, the four of us there. And I do love not being restricted anymore, to just, although we are in talks at the moment, and I can't tell you what, to do another musical in the West End that's been on for a little while, but they'd like me to play one of the leads, which I'm sort of considering at the moment.
Okay, excellent. And let's talk briefly about the NHS. I mean, the NHS has been under a lot of flack recently. Morale amongst the staff is low. The pressure on it is immense. Have you had to call on the NHS very much in your life?
Yes, of course. In my younger day, I'm very lucky now that I can, I think it's a very difficult way to word it, isn't it? You want to go, okay, unfortunately, I've got enough money that I can sort of bypass it to a certain degree.
No, it's always good to get perspective. I mean, certainly private care means you get things done earlier. If you've got a heavy workload, you need to get it done. You can't wait as long as sometimes you have to. But the work they do when they do see you is still amazing, I think.
Yes.
I was brought up in the NHS and it is incredible what we
these
get.
doctors you're seeing and paying for, I've had issues recently because I've had my prostate done.
When was that?
5 weeks ago.
5 weeks ago? You're looking very well on it.
Thank you very much.
Everything working nicely?
Everything's working
Plumbing's
nicely.
good?
It's all good now, but it took a little while.
Yes,
so,
but it would.
So I went for is it the PSI?
Yes,
well, yeah.
PSA.
PSA. Yeah. I'm dyslexic.
Well, there you go.
Do you know what I mean? But I do a lot of work for
PSI is pressure in your tyres, isn't it, in your car? But PSA, PSI, I know what you're talking about.
You do.
It's a different kind of pressure, that's all.
See, this is the grief I've had over many years of being dyslexic. People just pick on me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bullying.
No. Oh, no. So I'm one of them, and they went, ooh, he's got so irregularity there. So I went for an MRI, and then they said, right, okay, so what you got? You got enlarged prostate. He said, you're okay.
Benign.
Cancer, yes.
Yeah.
So we feel as if you should have it shrunk. Right, so how do I do that? And well, you see, what you do, you could resume. We steam it. Right, so how do you get the steam in it? Well, what we do, go down that, and no, you've got to go down there. Okay, so I've got to have this done. Yeah. So with me, I was never up all night. People go, oh, prostate, I'm up all night, keep going for a week. I went, I'm not, I'm fine. So mine was restricting my flow and not making me go, So I wasn't emptying my bladder, unbeknownst to me. So anyway, I've had it done, and I did put it off for about a year. Well, just leave it a little while, do it, and then suddenly, so I finished panto. Right, come on then, let's go and get it done. And it was an experience. I had to have a colostomy bag. Oh, so I had to go home with this, have it strapped to your leg. Yeah. Then you have a bigger one at night, and then when you're sort of it's like a hot water bottle, got my bag, my bag for life. Yeah. So all these things I joke about, but it was an experience, and now I must say it's probably taken a good 5-6 weeks for me to now feel, I'm all right now, but. It's the way forward. And as my libido's fine and all these sort of things,
Good.
So
Good. Thank you for sharing.
Well, I want to go.
Good.
This is what this is, Dr. Hilary, isn't it?
Well, Chris Hoy has done increased the referrals for men in Oxfordshire by between 100 and 150 people per week.
That is great.
Men are coming forward
amazing.
saying, if he can have it, I'm not ashamed to come and see the doctor. So they will save lives by
very
him raising
unlikely,
awareness.
that you are going to get away with this as you get older. The odds against you having it is very high. To even, so either you can be on, as you are very aware, medication just to relax it down there, or if it just gets too big. With me, he said it's as big as a tangerine. So he said, and he showed me the x-ray, said, so it was inevitable. But, once you hit 50, or even before that, it just, you're going to have issues with your prostate.
Yeah. And it's important for men to realise that the symptoms, are the same, whether it's benign or cancerous. Until you go and find out, you don't know.
And it's so easy to treat. Yeah. If you get in early, like all of these cancers and that, you think, oh my God, that's it. But no, get in there early, and people think, oh no, prostate and things like that. But no, these doctors are professional. You go in, it's not as scary as you think.
So, Brian, what's next for you in the future?
Well, of course, I've got the Pratt Pack tour.
Yes.
And we're just about to do that, which is very exciting, which we do often not even rehearse. We just sit in the dressing room going through our ailments. We have a little rule now that if you talk about it for 5 minutes, no, you can't go further than 5 minutes because, it's just not on. So we're doing that, which is real fun. And
I bet the four of you together must be a bundle of laughs.
We've all known each other about 40 years. I introduced Brad to his wife, Donna, and, we've been at ushers at, weddings and everything else. I was best man at Joe's because he has not got any friends, and all that, But I think it's good, and I think people are coming to see it because they just want to see us before we die.
Well, look, every success with that, I'm going to get a ticket, and this has been enlightening.
You can't get tickets sold out.
Well, I'm not. You're going to get me a ticket, aren't you?
Oh,
aren't you going to get me a ticket? He's going to get me a ticket.
Let go.
Oh, sorry. You're going to get me a ticket. Good luck. Good health.
Yes, but this is your 21st episode. They should have a cake for you.
Where's my cake, guys?
Yeah.
Where's my cake? Brian, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go and get you a cake.
That was fab. And don't forget the candles. My thanks to Brian Conley. Don't forget you can watch all my interviews on the Dr Hilary Show YouTube page, including my conversation with psychologist and psychotherapist Charlotte Armitage about her new book, Generation Zombie.
When I go into schools now, I do training for teachers, local authorities for teachers, about the impact of devices. So it's not necessarily the content that's online. We all know that's harmful. We all know children shouldn't be accessing really social media, and certainly not everything that they can access online. But it's the device itself, the impact that's having. And what it's doing is it's an actual barrier. If I sat here with an iPad now, it's an actual barrier between you and I. It's a barrier in every relationship, in a physical sense, but also in that psychological and emotional sense as well. And it's that's causing a disconnect. And it's that's making us it's making us feel more lonely and isolated, and consequently it's having a really negative impact on our mental health. Now, if our mental health suffers, our physical health suffers. Everything suffers when our mental health suffers.
Don't forget, if you have any questions about your health, send me an email to ask@drhilaryjones.com. If there's something on your mind, I want to help. Make sure you watch the next episode and let's talk about what really matters to you. And for more information and show notes on all our programmes, go to drhilaryjones.com.